Hey guys, enter the stars. And I thought I'd come on here and take a look at the Oroville Dam and try to maybe anticipate what's going on. The rains aren't really going to cease. Apparently, we're in some kind of a El Nino type of cycle. I want to talk a little bit about the history of Sacramento in this area. I was actually born in Sacramento, so this has a specific application to my personal life. I want to talk about the history of the rain issue, the drought issue in California, how all of this watershed is managed to the best degree possible. Now, Dabu has been covering a lot of this Oroville Dam. He's been kind of keeping up on it. Here's his video. I'm going to go ahead and pop this link in the chat here. This is huge, you guys. If this dam bursts, it not only means the danger of Oroville, but we're going to look into how this could directly affect Sacramento. As far as I know, in the history of California, I've never heard of this kind of evacuation beneath a dam. Okay, so we're going to get into all that here on the show today. I got Google Earth pulled up. We're going to look at some of this. Now, Oroville has a lot of history in the fact that here's a Google Earth here. This was a gold rush town, mining town. There was lots of excavation and lots of gold being sought out after. This is kind of the history of Sacramento and California and this whole area up here, up in these foothills and of the Sierra Nevada mountains is where a lot of this took place. Okay, what we're going to try to do here, we're going to try to look at this. Is it? This is the Oroville Dam. We're going to try to look at this in terms of its three-dimensional viewpoint. Let's spin this around here, see if we can get a lay of the land, of the topography that's going on. Now, this spillway here is the one with the damage. And as you can see, this image here was actually from 2015. And California was smack dab center in the middle of a drought. Now, this was a long drought. This was like a 7-year drought that they experienced here in California. And I was living there at this time. And it seemed like there was no end in sight. It seemed like there was no relief. Many of these reservoirs were drying up. And as you guys know, from the standpoint of geology, once this land, this surrounding land here is without water for periods of time, then the land begins to dry up. And then when you do get the rain, there's nothing holding this ground together. So it dissolves like dust and it dissolves away. And I believe this is the reason for the spillway damage that has occurred. In fact, what they'll often do, what should have been happening with this spillway, but as you can see here, there's really no way for them to get even water to the spillway because the water level had dropped below the spillway. Normally this water should be present here and they can kind of allow water out to keep this concrete in this surrounding area moistened so that the spillway doesn't, so that the ground does not retract back and dry out too much. Because once you finally do get a big rain, like I said, it erodes. And that is exactly what happened here. Now, there are many more problems with this. Again, as you can see, all this surrounding area is very, very, very dry. This was from 2015. Let's do a measurement on this. Here's the water line. And this goes out, looks like, let's see how many yards this is. That's 3 football fields, you guys. That's 3 football fields from this water line to the edge of the water here. Now, these are sheer cliffs. These are like a football field and a half. We're talking hundreds of feet, thousands of feet, okay? Have the water due to the drought over the last 7 years. Now, when I left California, I left it understanding that they were just on the verge of water rationing as well as charging exorbitant amounts water bills, especially in some of these more desirable areas to live in, like Santa Barbara. People saw their water bills double and triple, as well as all of their grasses and lawns dried up because they just simply, there were rules against using their water. Okay, and it almost began to feel like the land was being shaped demographically, drawn out by lines of water, where the water was available and where it was not. And it seemed like the places where most people wanted to live, the more desirable areas, is where there was no water, and it was more and more expensive for people to live there. Whereas the less desirable areas seemed to have all the water. And so that's kind of how California began to take shape. Now, originally, I think I've discussed with you guys on this show and different shows that I believed that they were trying to do this on purpose, that they were demographically trying to shape California to push people out, people that they did not want to be in California for whatever purpose. I will tell you that I noticed lots and lots of like Chinese people of Chinese ancestry coming into this country. Anytime I'd be like in some kind of tourist place, and it just really seemed like there was a very high interest from people from China in this country. And people that live in California will understand this. And I believe this is some kind of long-term plan somehow with California. And now you do know that Chinese have bought many of these national parks, as well as many bridges, like the Golden Gate Bridge, I believe, is owned by the Chinese. Many of these golf courses, they're buying up lots and lots of property here in California. And I believe this drought may be part of what they're doing. Now, we have a completely different scenario. We've got too much rain. And so this reservoir back here behind this dam literally is full. And according to Dabu's video, there is water about to come up over the dam. Now, this is a problem because we are still in the rainy season. It hasn't even started melting yet. Let me show you what happens as we zoom out here. As you look behind the dam, this is the whole watershed feeding into this dam. We're going to zoom out here. And what you're going to see are the Sierra Nevada mountains. This is where the rain is coming up out of the ocean. Let's zoom this out. Let me show you what's going on here, you guys. The rain is coming up out of the ocean. These systems are hitting. Here's California. It's on its side. And it's slamming against this higher elevation of mountains. Now, as I'm moving my cursor over the top of here, you are seeing that these mountains go all the way up to 6,000 feet elevation. And so now you're at 6,000 feet here. Here's the top of the Sierra Nevada mountains, just above Oroville, 5,000 and 6,000 feet. And watch this. As I move my cursor down towards Oroville, it drops right into this dam, which sits at about 1,000 feet. So all of this, the snowpack is just going nuts right now. Now you can see that most of the snow melted in 2015, but if you were able to look at an updated map of California, what you would see here is snow all along the Sierra Nevada range. Now, normally this snowpack doesn't start melting until 2 months from now, 2 to 3 months. And on years where we get a lot of snow in California, the waterfalls coming down out of these Sierra Nevada mountains and all of the river systems coming out of here is just majestic. For instance, Yosemite is one of the most amazing I actually had the luxury one year, years ago, of driving through Yosemite when all of the waterfalls were running strong. Very lot of rain. I think it was probably not before this drought, but before the drought before that. And this whole thing just turns to snow. Much of it doesn't even melt at some of these peaks, but it basically trickles down into this central valley throughout the year. This is the lowland, all this low-lying area. You see Sacramento, Fresno, there's Bakersfield in here, Stockton. This is where I grew up. Grew up in Stockton, but I was born in Sacramento. And all of this flows down and it exits in one spot, and that is San Francisco Bay Area. This is where all of this stuff exits out from. And it's like a giant bowl. It's like a bowl of fog in the winter and rain, okay? And all of it comes down these big channels. Now, Sacramento is a port city because it feeds, all of this kind of feeds in through Sacramento in this northern part of California. Let's flip this around as you get your orientation. Now, I'm getting to a point here. I just need to give you guys the background on this. So this whole valley is a very low-lying area. I think some parts of it are even below sea level. Okay, look, it says here 200 feet, a couple hundred feet, and then it all spills out through this San Francisco Bay Area. And this is, and of course, we got Google is in here somewhere. They're in here, and it's their headquarters. I don't know why I'm mentioning that, but so you get an idea. And this whole system here is just full of water. It's the Delta. This is called the Delta. I grew up on the Delta of Stockton. All this area here is where it all kind of trickles down into. Now, for years, there's been a drought. So a lot of this water system has been dry, okay? Many of these reservoirs, there's many, many reservoirs all through these foothills, and many of them went dry, or we're about to go dry. So now we've got this, what seems to be an El Nino year, and all this water stacking up. And this is why they're having problems. Now, here's the other side of the bowl. These are the coastal mountains, okay? And they form the coastal, but these mountains are a lot less tall than these mountains. They're about half the size, but it still forms kind of a bowl, the edge of the bowl. And it all spills out through the Bay Area. To me, it's amazing that Sacramento doesn't get more flooding. I mean, I'm sorry, San Francisco doesn't get more flooding because all the water in the whole valley pours out through here. But for some reason, it doesn't. Now, a lot of farming. That's why this is the breadbasket of America. A lot of farming goes on through this whole Central Valley. And during the drought years, there was a lot of concern. And actually, there was state funding to subsidize many of these farmers because there was no water to grow food. They didn't want the farmers to go bankrupt and go away because they knew that they would need the farmers to grow food eventually. And I believe this was all part of the PSYOP to get the farmers dependent on this government check, these subsidies, so that they would be beholden to the government, which of course would apply their rules of what genetically modified foods they would have to grow, and so on and so on and so forth. And I believe that that's the reason why they geoengineer these droughts. It's to put everyone into submission, as well as shape the demographic topography of the state, okay? So it's a two-pronged approach. And there's probably even a third prong, which means selling out California, I think is kind of what they're also up to. It got to the point where I couldn't even really afford to live in California anymore. I mean, the rents are out of this world, and if you can't afford the rent, basically you're going to be living in a high crime, high drug area. So now that you have the background and history about this dam, I'm going to check in the chat, make sure you guys are still with us, and then we're going to keep this going. Looks like we're still with you guys. Let's refresh this. 400 plus whales just died recently, someone said. Okay, let's just refresh this. Close Dabu's window. And we'll keep going with this. Purpose of this is to look at a dam failure scenario and what it would mean. And again, I've never seen this kind of evacuation underneath the dam, as far as I know, in the last 43 years I've been alive. So this is weird. It's something that we need to document and take note of. And I'm just going to make sure that this is, we're still connected. Looks like we are. We're going to pop back in here to Google Earth. Now, let's do this again. We're going to look at the watershed beneath the dam. In other words, what would happen if this dam burst? Where would all this water go? Again, this water is coming up over the dam, according to W's last video. So here's the watershed. Zoom this in a little bit more. We're going to track this thing all the way down. There's the dam. Dam bursts, what happens? Water comes flowing down the watershed. Remember, we haven't even had the spring melt yet. Spin this around. And from this elevation, we're at 3,000 foot elevation as the bird flies in the air. Following the watershed, you can still see this dam from 3,000 feet in the air. If you're flying in an airplane, you could still see this dam as we follow this watershed. We're simply following the river. Let's spin this around. I'm trying to see how close this is to Sacramento. We'll do a line measurement too. In a plane, I can still see the dam, Oroville Dam. I'm at 3,000 foot elevation. I can still see the dam following this watershed. Now, all of this is going to flood. Wall of water, 30 feet, right? Spin this around. There's the dam. I'm going to put a pinpoint right there. So we can mark where this is, right there. Call this dam. All right. Oh, it's not going to show us pinpoint. Following this watershed, you can still see the dam at 3,000 feet in an airplane from this point. This is it. This is where the water is going to go. Now, so far, the only really populated area we saw was Oroville, which is a small town. But them evacuating 200,000 people means something. And here we are, Yuba City. This would be the first casualty. And like most cities of the Central Valley, Yuba City and Marysville, they are closely packed in together, the city limits. Yuba City, Marysville, Oroville. So as you can see, let's zoom this out. Let's do a measurement and see how close these are. Here's the dam. Let's do this. Dam is here. And as the bird flies, we are here's Yuba City, Marysville. Yuba City's a pretty major city. As the bird flies, 28 miles, 30 miles, 30 miles, 30-foot wall of water. So, and this is a pretty narrow, water passageway, bordered on both sides. Foothills on the east and on the west. Yeah, it's a kind of a natural channel here, which could spill over this way. But as you can see, most of this is farmland. So really what you're getting is not too much damage there. But following this water course from Yuba City, as the bird flies, here is metropolitan Sacramento. Now talk about a tsunami of water. And again, Sacramento surrounds this water system 60 miles away. Here's the heart of Sacramento. Let's zoom this out. And there it is, 64 miles. And here you can see the close proximity. And Sacramento is in the sights of this wall of water. First major city in the watershed, definitely in the watershed. And that is what we're dealing with here, you guys. I wanted to lay all this out so you guys can see it with your own eyes. Yuba City, Marysville. Now, I'm wondering, they're saying 200,000 people evacuated. Let's do some math on this, and let's see where those 200,000 people are, because obviously they're going to be in this watershed, right? So let's look up Oroville, see how many people live in Oroville. We still connected, you guys? Let's see here. No, I can find out. 146 watching. Apparently we are. All right, let's look at Oroville. Population. See if that makes up the 200,000 people. So that's how we're going to find out how serious they think this thing is. As far as I know, nobody that I know that lives in Sacramento has called me telling me that they've been evacuated. So Oroville has a population of 15,000 people. Let's look at the next sentence. Now, these are mandatory evacuation. All right, we're going to look at the next city. Sorry, not sentence. Gridley, Live Oak, that's minimal, probably less than a couple thousand people in those areas. We're going to look up Yuba City and Marysville, which would be affected. Let's start adding these numbers up. Yuba City. What they've probably done, my guess, is to evacuate everything north of Sacramento as not to alarm the people. Because once Sacramento gets evacuated, I got news for you. It's going to hit the fan. That's when everyone's going to go, oh, crap, we got a problem here. Looks like there's 64,000 people. So we're up to 80,000 people. Let's look up Marysville. Marysville. It's got 12,000 people, so we're up to 100,000 people. So we're all the way down to Marysville, Yuba City, and we're only at 100,000 people, 30 miles away from this. So it appears as though all of these cities north of Sacramento have been evacuated. And if the order is given to evacuate Sacramento, then we have ourselves the makings of a disaster, pretty much, Hollywood style. Now, are we there yet? I don't think so. But it does concern me that this water is spilling over the top of this dam. It does concern me that this spillway is eroding away. It's like almost like the precursors of something that could happen. So I wanted to get on here and document it, let you guys know what's going on, give you a little history and background behind this. And let me go back in the chat, see what's going on. Maybe you guys have some other information that you can share with us in the chat. Let's hope and pray this doesn't happen. Oroville Power Plant, says Texan Trump fan. Yeah, pretty nuts. 923. That was weird. It just happened to, it just popped up. Anyway, guys, let's see what other things you guys have. There are 2 major power plants in direct path and harm, attack on the power structure. Right now, the water level has been lowered by 2 feet and is no longer overspilling the emergency spillway. Well, that's good to know, Dr. Michael Miller. Well, we got more rain on the way. Dutch is forecasting an earthquake. Interesting. Could this be a national event worthy of a martial law issue? I would say so. If that dam goes, make no mistake, you guys, Sacramento is in trouble. There will be massive flooding. The whole Capitol, all the Capitol buildings, the downtown, all of that is in that floodplain. It's all there. A 30-foot wall of water coming through that river system would overspill the borders of the American and Sacramento rivers. Uh-oh. Sheena Living Waters lives in Yuba City. Yeah, the evacuation is mandatory. Whether or not people choose to listen to it, maybe some people are not concerned that this dam could go. Thursday night looks like it's going to start coming in heavier than the preceding Wednesday forecasts. Thanks for the weather update, Dr. Michael Miller. Show us the map again. Let's take a look. It says Michael Z. So here's again the watershed. I'll do a wide angle view of this. Let's track this. I wonder if I could remember how to do this here. All right, let's try this. Let's try this. Boom. Boom. Okay, we are tracking the watershed of this river system. Whoa. Didn't mean to do that. So this goes down Oroville, South Oroville, Oroville East, Thermalito. I don't know where what they could be evacuating if it's less than 200,000 people. That takes us all the way to Sacramento, you guys. Of course, Sacramento has many more people. I think there's close to 500,000 people in Sacramento metropolitan area. But basically, this is the scenario. Water spilling down 60 miles away. First hitting Yuba City, Marysville. Some of it's spilling this way, but as you can see, there would be too much damage because this is all farmland. Whoops, this is all farmland here. There are no major cities this direction, even though you do see this kind of, this looks almost look like another dam here almost. And it would spill like this way and out. But none of this would be affected because there's really no cities there. You've got these cities along the watershed of the dam going down Yuba City and into Sacramento, which is here. Boom. In Sacramento, as you can see, it's a very large metropolitan area spanning hundreds of square miles, if not into the thousands. And so let's hope none of this happens. It probably won't happen, but it's always good to look at this stuff and try to figure out what is going on. All right, back in the chat. Um, there's enough water behind that dam to put the entire state of Connecticut under 1 foot of water. I forgot to mention that this is one of the largest dams, or they said the tallest dams in the country or in the world, actually. We also know how they construct things with an end point of destruction. We've talked about that. The whole World Trade Center story. They built them to be destroyed. They're actually angled at 119 degrees. The World Trade Center Twin Towers. That's 9/11 backwards. How did they know they were going to get destroyed on 9/11? Because they know this is what they do. They build and destroy. Order out of chaos. This is what the Freemasons do. This is what the builders do. And then through this process, they keep us all in control. I'd be interested to hear from Shanna Living Waters, who's actually, she follows this channel. Apparently, someone's telling us that she lives in Yuba City, so it'd be interesting to hear her perspective on what is going on with this. I mean, what has she heard in the news? I mean, are they evacuating her? I mean, she's directly downstream from this dam. So I'd be interesting to hear what the local news is saying over there. Emergency spillway has washed away the topsoil and exposed solid rock, and personally I believe there's minimal potential for that location to have any potential disastrous effect. Okay. Thanks for that perspective. The highest in the country, creative destruction. Let's see what's going on with Yuba City. Okay, Yuba City evacuation immediate, Sutter County, California. Let's take a look here. Wow, that's a big red banner. Here we go. So I was right. Immediate evacuation, Live Oak, Yuba City, Nicholas, and other communities along the Feather River ordered. This was 13 hours ago. Evacuate on Highway 99, Highway 70 south to 20 west. Do not evacuate north. Do not evacuate north. Partial failure of the Oroville Dam is possible. So this isn't fear mongering. This is the truth. This is what's going on. There is an active evacuation order for Yuba City. As we said, Sutter County. So this whole area here. Here's the alert area. Let's take a look. Unbelievable. Now, further downstream is Stockton. That's where my family lives. I actually have family in Sacramento as well. My sister lives there. Some friends. Some family on my dad's side lives there. And here's the evacuation area. Okay, so I was right. So this is the entire evacuation area. Everything north of Sacramento. And look at this. They've got Sacramento and the sites. Actually, okay, so they've got western Sacramento in the evacuate. What is going on here? So this is, it's in advisory mode here. According to this public alert. Warning. Flood warning. Flood warning. So everything north of Sacramento, this is actually, they're calling this flash flood warning, potential failure of a portion of the auxiliary part of the dam. Okay. So here we have it. Feather River. Wow. Let's keep going with this. Looks like the warning seems to lighten into flood warning, flash flood, flood warning, and then this is flood warning. Here's Sacramento, flood warning. Sacramento doesn't have any warnings, and that's curious to me because as you can see, it's still in this floodplain. It connects right here. Boom, goes right through Sacramento. And look, this whole central part, as I told you, all flood warning. Wow, this entire area, unbelievable. They're getting a lot of rain in California right now. A lot of rain, which is necessary but causes problems for the state when they get all this rain all at once. This is kind of the nature of the way things are in California, you guys. It's kind of the way it's always been. You go through periods of drought, 7, 8, 10 years, and then in 1 year you get just bombarded. They call it like an El Nino. And this is a desert for the most part. Look at here's the Sierra Nevada mountains. This is actually a really good map. All right, you guys. Well, I think that's about it. I think we pretty much beat that horse. So let me see if you guys have any other questions, any more suggestions. I appreciate all of your input. And like I said, if you guys can reach out to Sheena Living Waters and maybe we can get a live update on what is going on in Yuba City with the evacuations. So maybe she's in the chat. Let me refresh this. Maybe I can look up local news for Yuba City and see what the local news is saying. That's what we'll do next after this gets done refreshing. Let's close some of this stuff up here. Wow, that's interesting. Living waters, and it's all about the waters coming down. Yeah, it's the Matrix, you guys. Everything means something. It's what shows us God, right? Okay, I'm in the chat again. California has more people than Australia. Has the dam completely broke yet? No, Jennifer Horse, it is not. We're just looking at the flood scenario, what would happen. Because we never get a complete picture from the news. They only tell us what they want us to hear. So yeah, prayers to all those people going out. Let's hope that the dam holds. Let's hope that they don't get too much more rain in that area. Let's hope there isn't some kind of weird plan by the Illuminati to create mass destruction and death. They like to do that every once in a while. Sandra said she sent Shannon this link. So much disinfo in the locals, it appears. To the locals, it appears. No one knows what to believe. Dude. Actually, I grew up there, and California is considered a desert. But they have intermittent heavy rain. This is just how it works. No, the dam is not broken. Only spillway has been damaged. Yes. (23 to 39 days since the release of the film Charge at Feather River. Oh, swags. And then it was weird, like the actual time popped up on my computer and it said 9:23. Bizarre. The emergency or auxiliary spill area is exposed bedrock. Okay, so Michael Phillips is giving us updates. Appreciate that. More information, the better. Is there supposed to be storms coming? Yes, Adriana. Dr. Michael Phillips gave us a weather update. Supposed to be more rain coming. 500,000 people in Sacramento. Thanks, friends in truth. Thursday is the first potential for heavy rains on and off through next Sunday. And I know they're probably letting out as much water as they can. We have the desert, the snow, the beach, 2 hours travel exactly in California. Adriana's in the Bay Area. By the time it gets down there, you'll probably be okay, Adriana, if the dam were to burst. According to the map we just looked at, this map here. The immediate danger is this Palermo and this Yuba City and Marysville. This is where the water is going to come. It's going to just spill out all through here. And it looks like mainly the western side of the river it's going to spill out into. So not even really Marysville. Most likely it's going to be Yuba City is where this water, anything to the east of this river here, is the way that it's going to spill out according to this map here. So part of Sacramento is in danger. I would call it western Sacramento, but it's far enough downstream where much of this water is probably going to dissipate like out here. But make no mistake, this is a major dam. Okay, you can see the amount of water behind this dam compared to the other reservoirs. You can see the amount of water. Look at all the water coming in to this dam. There's a lot of water in there right now compared to this reservoir, compared to this reservoir, this reservoir. None of this is very none of these other reservoirs are very deep compared to Oroville. I mean, this is probably hundreds of feet deep. Let's take a look at this Oroville Dam. Looks like it's 770 feet high. City of Oroville, let's see how deep this thing is. Here it is, 770 feet high. It's the tallest dam in the U.S. and serves mainly for water supply. Oroville. Oro means gold in Spanish. So we were talking about the gold rush earlier. The dam impounds Lake Oroville, 3.5 million acre feet, Sierra Nevada foothills. May 4th is when it opened, 5/4, 1968. It was initiated in 61. That's when Obama was born. 1961. Dam volume, 770 feet. Trying to see how deep this thing is. Probably close to 770 feet. Reservoir, 900 foot. Oh, this is almost 1,000 feet high. It's huge. Huge, you guys, huge. Let's see if there's any local news regarding Yuba City. Local news, evacuation. Go here at the news. Strongly recommends no Sacramento Bee. Take a look at some of these articles, see if we can get down to the truth. Unbelievable. You guys, the reason why this is important is because I've never heard of anything like this. 200,000 people being evacuated anywhere in California my entire life growing up. So this is huge. Here's the Sacramento Bee. Yuba City school vac. Oh, wait, what do we have here? 12 hours ago. And this is all materializing as we, this is all taking place kind of on the fly. January 5th. See if we can get some of these here. CBS Local. Okay. Nine hours ago. Let's see what this has to say. Close up some of these windows. So it looks like they've kept increasing the number of people requested to evacuate. This is from yesterday. Looks like what I'm seeing is first this says 88. Geez, really? 188,000 people? There's that 88 number. Something about the 88s, right? At least 180,000 people were asked to evacuate an area near the Oroville Dam Sunday after authorities warned an emergency spillway was in danger of failing and unleashing uncontrolled floodwaters on towns below. Now, this is just the spillway. If the dam went, we'd be in a very, very, very bad situation. Let's listen to this here. Hold on, let me put up the volume on this. This thing will load up. Let's listen to this.
Well, I saw the video from earlier, and of course I was here for that yesterday morning when this was just a trickle. I came over here. As a matter of fact,
sorry guys, bad internet. Let's let this thing load. Some footage of this thing coming up over the spillway.
We didn't even see any of the water that's going down into that area. Now we're seeing white water coming over. So that means this is very fast moving water and a lot of it that's coming into the emergency spillway here. As a matter of fact, almost as much white water that is going down the regular spillway. So we filled up that catch basin we were talking about yesterday. It has crested that. It has gone over and it is flowing down. You can see there are several waterfalls that are cascading right down there.
That's pretty major, you guys.
Right down into the trees.
Now that we're getting like more of the story. Now, make no mistake, as soon as the rains come back, you're going to see this again, and it could be worse. It almost looks like a pyroclastic flow, almost like some kind of a mudslide. I mean, look at this.
Just a lot of water here, way more than I saw yesterday morning.
So they're watching this. They're concerned. They're evacuating this. This is a report from yesterday.
Remember, yesterday, just a trickle here, and we kind of saw that little.
All that water coming down out of the Sierra Nevada mountains.
Over the road that goes into the parking lot. Now, as I look over there at the parking lot for the
man, I bet you some good fishing in there, though. Good trout fishing.
There, as you can see at the bottom of the screen right there, tilt down and zoom right in there, and to the right, you'll see the guardrails from the road.
Look at that. It's shocking. 188,000. So this is it. I wonder why they're not showing the actual dam. I want to see the dam.
Oh, quite all right. As a matter of fact, there's something else I want to show you here. Andrew, would you zoom in down onto the right there where you see that road coming in? Remember, this road went across yesterday. This was like a miniature dam all its own.
Whoa, look at that.
Already, see the guardrail hanging off there on the right?
Just blew through the road.
That was, we kind of called it like a mini catch basin. We thought that was going to fill up and then go over it. Well, at some point it did. Then it broke free.
Get all that water. Now, the destructive power of the water, as many of you know that have any familiarity with water and its destructive power, what you're looking at here is billions of cubic feet and pressure and energy being released here. That's what we're looking at. Okay, basically an entire delta of a watershed is creating itself. It is creating itself. That is the danger. Anytime water goes outside of its normal boundaries, it starts creating its own. It starts creating its own watershed, and that's when you run into problems. Is it starts to erode things away. So anyway, that's it. Definitely looks like there is some kind of a mandatory evacuation. Let's pause
and
this.
on this remote lane, deep in a...
Let's pause this. Okay, let's take a look at this. Butte County Sheriff issued evacuation order 420 after the hazardous situation developed. Authorities are concerned erosion could lead to the failure of the Oroville Dam's emergency spillway. So the fact that it's spilling over the side of this, it could break actually tops of this away. This is the concern. As soon as this water starts spilling up over the spillway, it's doing its own thing. It can erode and cause catastrophic failure because they're not used to having this water in those areas. Do you see? This is the concern. And they even say that here. Evacuation orders were expanded later Sunday evening for areas of Butte and Yuba counties. So they expanded the evacuation order downstream from Oroville Dam after one of the dam's emergency spillways was on the verge of collapse because of the severe erosion, according to authorities. Erosion at the head of the emergency spillway threatens to undermine the concrete weir and allow large, uncontrolled releases of water. The California Department of Water Resources said those potential flows could overwhelm the capacity of downstream channels and levees. The good news being reported late Sunday night was that the release of water from the main spillway had stopped water from going over the damaged auxiliary spillway. Okay, so according to the Butte County officials, in addition to downtown Oroville and Thermalito, other evacuated areas include towns of Gridley, Biggs, and Loma Rica, as well as areas along the Feather River south of Butte County. There were also evacuations ordered in Yuba County, including the areas around Hallwood, Marysville, Olivehurst, Linda, and Plumas Lake. Over 5 hours later, hundreds of cars carrying panicked and angry people were sitting in bumper-to-bumper traffic. This is like a scene out of one of those disaster movies. People trying to escape because they could only escape south. They told them not to go north. The police came and told us to evacuate, said Casey Levius. Like a levy? Really? Who was with her husband, Greg, at a gas. Is this real? As he attempted to flee. Officials warned residents that the spillway could fail within an hour. So this is a pretty big deal. Unbelievable. I'm just shocked, Greg Levius said. Levy, right? Not giving us more warning, said Casey, finishing her sentence. We've never been through this before. Exactly. That's what I was telling you guys. I've never heard of this happening. We have 2 boys and our dog. All the stuff we could fit in the trunk, clothes and blankets. Wow. What they couldn't fit, they piled as high as they could in their downstairs Yuba City apartment and joined the line of traffic attempting to leave the city. So Yuba City, people were trying to get out. This is what I was telling you guys. All the way down here, Yuba City. This is the story of what happened. Yuba City right here. So I was telling you. So I'm surprised we haven't heard from Sheena Living Waters. If she lives there, she was experiencing and saw these lines of traffic and all this. Let's keep going with this story. This is giving us some good information. Let's make sure we're still connected here. Appreciate you guys coming out, trying to get to the bottom of this. All right. Well, let's take a. It was 4 p.m. Pacific time on Sunday evening when they gave the mandatory evacuation to Oroville residents. Let's keep going with this. So there was lines of cars, immediate evacuation orders. When authorities offered an update at 10 p.m., both Butte County Sheriff and Cal Fire Regional Chief said that the release of water, though the dam spillway had significantly lowered the level of the lake and stopped water from going down the emergency spillway, causing more erosion. So the erosion was the concern, eroding over the top. The efforts of the DWR to lower the lake level by utilizing the main spillway has been effective. Now there's no more water going over the emergency spillway. That is a good thing. However, despite the stability brought by stopping the erosion of the emergency spillway, there are still some concerns. There are still a lot of unknowns. We need to continue to lower the lake level. We need to give the Department of Water Resources the time to thoroughly evaluate the situation so that we can make some decision as to whether or not to repopulate areas. So if any of you guys live in these surrounding areas outside of this flood zone and you can help with the people that have nowhere to go, this is what channels like this are here for, to spread the word. If there's anyone here in the chat who is watching this live show who has nowhere to go and you're watching this live show, reach out, and there may be someone you can stay with outside of this flood zone in Northern California that can help you. It says that at an early 6 p.m. press conference, Honia said let's see. Honia said the evacuation order went out after engineers spotted a hole that was eroding back toward the top of the spillway. I couldn't risk the lives of thousands of people, so we took the significant step. Honia said that the crews of the California Department of Water Resources were doing everything they could to avert the crisis. I'd rather be safe than sorry. I'd rather have people moving out of the area, hopefully to safety, than to sit and hope for a solution. Experts told Honia shortly after 6 p.m. that the erosion was not advancing as rapidly as had been initially thought, giving hope that the emergency spillway might not actually fail. So remember, the emergency spillway is part of the dam. Okay? The emergency spillway is part of the dam. Let's go look at this picture. So when people are saying, well, the dam's okay. Well, the emergency spillway is part of the dam. So here's the dam. As this erodes, this whole area back here is what was eroding away. Water was coming up over this area. And this could actually erode all of this away. And you wouldn't have the full force of all this water pent up behind the dam, but you could have a very significant amount of water come down. So we're not talking the full force of all this water coming down. We're talking about a portion of it. Let's keep reading this article. Honia said 2 inches of water is still coming over the dam, but that is significantly down from earlier flows. There is a plan to plug the hole by using helicopters to drop rocks into the crevice. Doesn't sound like a very good plan to me. Issued its own statement early Sunday evening. The concern is that erosion at the head of the spillway threatens to undermine the concrete weir and allow large, uncontrolled releases of water from Lake Oroville. These potential flows could exceed the capacity of downstream channels. So we pretty much already covered that. All right. So that's it. That's the truth. This is the report. If we start to see the additional water coming over, then we definitely know that this could erode away the concrete and could cause problems. So as long as this water isn't continue to go over this, then we should be in the clear. But again, we got more rain coming, and we will see what happens. All right, you guys, I think that's about it. I think we pretty much covered everything. Got the information out there. Again, if you're any of these people that are living or been evacuated from Yuba City or any of these cities north, and you have nowhere to go, now is the time to reach out. I'm sure there are people inside of this chat who live in Northern California outside of the flood zone who'd be happy to open their doors for a week so that you could come and stay there with your family if you have nowhere to go. This is, as Christians, this is what we're supposed to be doing if we have the ability to do so. So they are successfully evacuating salmon from hatchery on Feather River. Uh-oh. I better go. I'd like to have some of those salmon. I'm too far away now. Thanks, Buddha girl. All right. There was a kid that brought a gun to school and no lockdown. Damn, says Linda Cloud. No pun intended, right? Casey, is there any way you could look into an incident that happened in Pinole Middle School? Are you talking about the boy that brought a gun to school? Casey likes salmon. I love salmon. I could live off of salmon. I think it's my Native American coming out of me. Love salmon. My favorite thing to eat is salmon fettuccine Alfredo. If you've never tried it, you should. All right. You need to prepare with water. Better safe than sorry. Yes. Make sure you have fresh water. And when they said drain the swamp, this is not what they had in mind. Yeah, we need more rain for it to bust. Yes, Zorro. Yes, until water starts coming over the spillway again, they're pretty much out of the danger zone. In case you get your mind off fish, remember you moved out of California. Actually, I've had the luxury of going fishing the last couple of days, and I saw an alligator gar in the wild eating a dead fish. I got it on videotape, but it's kind of hard to see because it's far away. And I've caught several white bass that are spawning up creek, and this is 2 miles from my house. So I'm kind of blessed. And as soon as I get a camera, I'm going to start uploading videos again, you guys. Get your gar, Casey. Laugh out loud. Yeah, these alligator gars are in the water. They look like baby alligators. They've got it looks like like legs and arms. Pretty neat. So I found a little spot in this little creek. It's actually the east fork of the Trinity River, all the way up at the headwaters, up above the first dam, which is Lake Lavon, which is where I live. And in fact, the very headwaters of the East Trinity River run behind the house that I'm in. So that's pretty cool. Let's see, what else do we have here? Last night's dam overflow was on purpose to coincide with Beyonce's performance, says Ryan. Beyonce. Bay, like holding water. Maybe, I don't know. It's a... Yes, same. Let's see. All right, you guys. I think that's about it. I may go live again if there's any updates. We did decode the halftime performance by Katy Perry. If there's any other performances you think are worth decoding, shoot me a private message and I'll take a look at it. Okay, you guys? Much love. Take care and be safe.